Something's wrong with my audio. Wherever it is. Yes. Yes. Sorry, the audio doesn't seem to be. Okay, there we go. That should be working better now. Alrighty. So here we are. Back with some more House Bolton. In this case, these are the Bolton Blackguards, which are a troop unit. They're medium infantry, I think, is what they are in the game. Might be heavy. They got nice little armor. They got this nice little flail. Got this nice little shield. There are 3 different minis of the troop unit, so there's this one. The biggest difference is the shield design and the pose. There's that one, this one, and then there is this one, which is honestly a bit of a weird pose because how static his legs are. It looks like he's just swinging around for laughs and giggles. And we also got the Bannerman, who has his own special shield design. And we also have this one who's called a Flare. At least I think that's what he's called. He's basically kind of like the optional troop sergeant. So, the unit could have him, not have him, or have a different character like Bruce Bolton. But it can only ever have 12 units total. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started. Let's see. Let's go ahead and get started on all of that lovely, lovely red. Now, I'm actually using a pink for all of this because it's kind of like a nice, deep, sort of muscular red where it, looks a bit more like they're wearing the colors of someone who has been flayed, which is both their sigil and their colors. I'm actually going to enjoy painting the banner because I'm going to be painting it the book colors, which means it's going to be... Oh, I should have probably painted the face first, but oh well. The book colors are a pink background with a red flayed man with blood drops. In the show, they took the flayed man and made him crucified. On a white cross and made the background blue, although a lot of the official products and artwork changed the background to black slightly. I remember at the time me and all the Night Lord fans on Bolter and Chainsword saw that and just went all crazy about it. telling me turn on stream caption, but it is. Stream closed caption bot, you always worry me. Now, the funny part is, I don't think any of us ever liked Ramsay Snow, or Ramsay Bolton. So he ends up becoming later because he gets legitimized. Most of us were Roose Bolton fans because he was, well, more serious, more controlled, a little bit less of a spoiled child with a knife. Now when this red is done, I go over it again with Flesh Terror's red. So add a nice bit of red that is meant to be a bit more like blood, and it'll come out a bit burgundy. Ends up coming out like this, which actually is still pretty red, but you can still see like a nice little pink sheen to it. And you know, that's what we're going for. Got this red, this nice blue, and then the blackened steel armor. Something I plan to do with the Mormont she-bears and pretty much anything else I ever paint that has a skin tone is that, you know, I want a variety of skin tones. So, you know, we're going to be painting some dark skin tones, some light skin tones, some in the middle. I have a Hedonites of Slaanesh army book that has like a pretty good variety just right there. It's got about 5 different skin tones. A couple of them can be like Latinx or Latine or what's the word? Arabic and Semitic. Because, you know, the Hedonites of Slaanesh, they try to go for that Persian feel. And then it's also got 2 different black skin tones and then 1 very, very white skin tone, which is what I used here on Roose Bolton. I'm going to use this on all the Blackguards, and it's kind of because morally and ethically they're kind of like they're not kind of, they are some of the worst people in the Game of Thrones universe. You know, they're oathbreakers, they're torturers, they kind of got the whole thing going against them. But, you know, when you're a Night Lords fan, they're pretty much exactly your cup of tea. Because the Night Lords are not that much different. I might change my mind on that. I'm not sure yet. Alright, so let's go ahead and go for... Actually, I gotta get in there. Go ahead and do that. Then I think I'm going to go for this belt that he's got. That came out too thin. And now I got it all over the belt. Oh well. Get in there. Alright, there we go. I think I got in behind that shield. The inside of that shield's gonna be loads and loads of fun. You can tell already. Alright, so actually let's go ahead and do the belt next, which we are using Mournfang Brown on. I'm going to wash in a layer of Nuln Oil and then Agrix Earthshade. It's still going to come out pretty bright, as you can see here. It's like the brightest thing on there besides the steel. The rivets, I'm going to try and also do in steel. That's going to be a bit on the fun side because they're just little dots. Hey, Imont. Thank you. The display is Roose Bolton himself. He got the treatment first because, you know, he's special. And then there's actually 9 more minis that aren't here on the table yet. Those gotta get painted. Gotta go back and touch up that red. I didn't put any Mournfang Brown on my palette. Whoops. This up on here. As I was saying, when I go back and do these metal studs in the belt, that's going to be the fun bit because I gotta do it without going back over, and that shield is really in the way there. Without covering up the brown. Not gonna lie, I almost forgot about the straps on his vest there. Come on, go in. Did I not grab enough? Come on. There we go. Whew. how is everybody? What is everybody up to? Not gonna lie, I only woke up about an hour ago. Because, well, after you do 6 nights of overnights, followed by 2 years of getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning so you can be at work by 5, and then being home by 1 in the afternoon where you then slept, operating during daytime is very difficult. I remember I actually kept asking to get put on the closing shift from my last job. Part of this was because everyone else hated it. I didn't mind it that much. Alright, now for the blue, which is very aptly named Night Lord's Blue, because it is dark and full of terror. Ha ha ha. Alrighty. Oh yeah, how's your diamond sharks going? Going good? There we go, that should be enough blue. No, I have no idea why I'm going to paint that handle, and I didn't think of it until just now. Ooh. It's gone on a little bit thicker than I wanted it to. Gotta go ahead and take off that excess and just try to control the rest of it. And can't forget about under the cloak. There's still a lot on the brush. I forget, what color are the Gamma Galaxy for the Diamond Sharks? Oh, brush there. Oop, come on. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Get in there. Why is there always this tiny little bit of cape? No, he has an extra layer of cloth that Bolton didn't have right here. We're going to go ahead and paint that blue. Then the gambeson is going to be black, which is this little bit here. And his boots are going to be silver like the rest of his armor. Oh, the back of the cloak. Oh no, you're alright for talking to family. Dark green with blue and silver highlights. Now that sounds interesting. I'm gonna have to look that up when I get a chance. That sounds interesting. One of these days, I'm going to figure out how to get my camera focused so it actually sees the mini instead of the white lines on my cutting board. Guess what I'm actually going to have to do is just get something black to paint over it. Something black to paint over, something dark, a solid color. That way it's not trying to constantly focus in these lines. Hey, Cass. How you doing? Or is this Max? I assume it's Cass, because you're usually using it. Welcome to the stream. We're painting up some Game of Thrones. How you been doing? Max is burning things up. Is that a good burning things or a bad burning things? Ooh, I do. That's new. I don't think I've ever had 7 viewers before. Ooh, that blue went on very thin. This is new and exciting territory. Alright. Come back here. Alright. Let's go ahead and take a look. Oh, not nice. Oh, okay. There's the blue. Oh, that's a nice little dark sea blue. That's nice. Burning is just for fun. Alright. At least Florida is pretty okay with its oh, well, I lived in Florida. Sorry. Yeah. I always recommend burning stuff for fun. Ooh, thank you. Yeah, that's the back. Here's the front. Still got to wash everything, but you know. I'm actually really proud of the end goal, which looks like this. This is Roose Bolton himself. And I just really like how everything came out. Alright, so next up is the Gambeson, which we're going to be painting black. Alright. Yeah, those tones are dark and muted, but they work out together really well. Don't see a base on there. Yeah, no, I haven't decided what the base is going to be, so I haven't touched it yet. Also, like, when I do the basing, I also have to think about this giant piece. Because this is what they're supposed to be in during the whole time, so it'd be like, you know, here and here. So it'd be like that. And then as the unit takes damage, you just remove one person until they're all, no longer on the board. Sand and flock base. Could be. Not really anywhere House Bolton fought, because they mostly fought in the Riverlands when they were fighting for House Stark, and then when they were fighting against House Stark, they went back to the north to reclaim it. So I do have some options on territory. Mostly going to be a bit grassy, but you can add snow or not snow. Let's see. Do I have a proper brown? No, I do not. All right. Let's go ahead and paint up that handle before I forget it exists again. And then we'll move on to the Gambison. What I'm really excited for are the Targaryen starter set I have, because most of it's going to be Dothraki, so you can get that nice sandy, grassy plain that they're showing all over the place on the TV show. And, to represent the plains of the, I forget, I think it's called the Grass Sea. No, the Grass Sea was the Khalasar. I don't know my fantasy geography that well. But yeah, Snowflock. Paint the sand grays and blacks. You can probably just stay with the primer in that case. Okay. I'll have to look that up, but I'll go for it. Yeah. Get in between those metal rings there. You can just barely see. Yep. Metal rings are going to be a bit on the wood-colored side. Go back over this with Agrex Earthshade. I think I see a spot, a couple of spots that escaped. Ah! That was an accident. Oh, we're going to have to go back over that. So busy looking and thinking about one thing when I shouldn't have been. Flock is where you kind of see the sand and dirt through the grass, right? Funnily enough, I think I have a box of grass somewhere. Alright, let's go ahead and touch that back up. There we go. Touch up some spots that escaped on the cloak. Not too worried about missing stuff, because I'm going to go over with Dragonhof Nightshade, and that does a pretty good job of covering everything up. There we go. There we go. Alright, now for the steel. Okay, fair enough. I haven't really tried basing before, and I guess because most of what I watch is Duncan Rhodes and Warhammer videos, most of their ideas just, you know, paint a color over it and then use those texture paints to provide a nice simple base. But obviously we want a little bit more here. Oh, right. Black. Where are you? Abaddon Black. Now, I have to laugh because there is a Star Trek character named Abaddon, and he appears in Star Trek Voyager, where he makes a deal to sell a ship to Tom Paris. But the ship was programmed with an AI that wanted the best pilot ever so it could fly into a singularity and crash itself. It believed that if it went through the singularity, it would go the fastest it can ever go. And it did, till it blew up. Baking powder. I did not know you could use baking powder for basing material. I am learning things today. Did I not grab enough black paint? There we go. Got a nice little fine tip. Now, the thing I love about these models is how detailed they all are. The thing I hate about them is how small they all are. Takes all that detail and just makes it very hard to paint. Keep not getting enough black paint. Alright, just a little bit more. We gotta get this little bit in the back. Be all right. Stick the materials to the base. Okay. PVA glue, is that regular white glue, or is it like the stuff you use for putting pipes together and whatnot? I have to ask because it's been a hot minute since I've seen anything that isn't just regular super glue. Uh-oh. There we go. Okay, I know you can't see what I'm doing here because the base is in the way, but I'm trying to paint the bottom of this canvas in. Sorry. This also happens to be where the light is. Alright. I think I mostly got it. Kind of hard to tell. It looks all shiny down there. Alright. Now for the armor. Yeah, unfortunately these maze came fully assembled base and all. There was absolutely zero construction on my part, which I'm kind of okay with. But, yeah. I just remembered that my, Stormhost Silver went bad. That's for a different project anyway, so it should be alright. PVA is Elmer's craft glue, I think. Okay, I think I have a bottle of that. So that should not be a problem. Sorry, I've actually been rewatching Game of Thrones because of House of the Dragon and whatnot, and trying to read them. I've done deep dive on the wiki, so I know there is a lot of story that did not make it to the show, and even a lot of what did ended up being very, very different. One prime example, Roose Bolton doesn't die in the books, or at least not yet. Actually, the books get really complicated, and that's mostly why I want to read them, is because it's like a very detailed, complicated, and in-depth thing. And it actually comes across as more of like, oh, you're reading a very large and fantastical history thing, kind of like a, you know, like you're watching the History Channel or something, but you know, about magic dragons and whatnot. But it's also like a surprisingly personal view, and it's definitely not something the show translated too well. Ah, crap, I got some metal on the belt. Oh well. Man, Mel, why aren't you going on the brush? I haven't really worked through them. I'm working my way through, well, Game of Thrones, the first book. The funny part was I had started reading it, but due to other stuff, I put it down. I came back to it. I'm like, I know it's somewhere in the beginning, so I kind of just flipped to the last page that didn't feel familiar, which was like page 80. And then as I'm reading it, a bookmark falls out at page 320. I'm just like, wow. I normally don't use bookmarks, and I don't remember getting that far ahead. They actually have the last book named Winds of Winter, and there was a sample chapter released. But yeah, he keeps going back and just doing like more and more prequel stuff. So like you know, Fire and Blood is supposed to have a sequel that finishes recounting the Targaryen reign up until, well, it ends. Uh, it has been named for a long while. Yeah. I know of at least 2 years that I've known about it. It's been named, but, you know. I really liked the, oh, how did I miss you? The, Sir Duncan and Egg comics he did. I actually really like those a whole lot. It's kind of one of the reasons I'm excited about House of the Dragon because, you know, it's the Dance of the Dragons. I'm kind of hoping somewhere we get a Blackfire Rebellion show. Although if we do get a Blackfire Rebellion show, they'll have to explain why they screwed up the Golden Company so bad. Alright. Why am I still using my... Well, no. I see why I'm still using my little brush. Never mind. Because all these metal bits end up getting very, very small. But yeah, I'm enjoying the miniature range on this because like oh my goodness, there's so much miniature range. I don't even. Whew. The only bad part is they're kind of not keeping up with it, so it's kind of like, oh, get it while you can, or you know, might be like the Bolton Cavalry unit where one day it's there and the next it's just been out of stock so long that everyone gave up on selling it. But like they got these guys. They got the Stormcrows. They got Vargo Hote of the Second Sons, although I don't think they've released any Second Son mercenaries. You know, and now they're dropping out the Golden Company. They dropped so much of House Greyjoy in the last year. And they're still producing like heroes for some of the other sets. I think Stark and the Baratheon army set are some of the biggest ones they have. Which is a little bit weird because the Baratheon is the newer army that dropped just before the Greyjoys. But it's also two different armies because it's both Stannis and Renly. But, you know, they have the core Baratheon units, but then they also keep making units for both Stannis and Renly. So, you know, Renly keeps getting a bunch of Highgarden and, you know, flower-themed units to go with that to represent how he changed the colors and whatnot. Is wanting to be different from Stannis. Stannis is getting a bunch of Lord of Light and Fire-themed units. Actually, I think the Lannisters might be the biggest range because they just got so much. It's horrifying. But what I'm really looking forward to is that soon they're supposed to be dropping a House Martell army. It's like, yes, it's one of my favorite houses. Oh, right, metal. It's like, I can't wait for that. And it's like, there's a actual play show for the RPG, a Sea of Spears, that's on Play the Game Twitch. You can find it on YouTube under Russell Zimmerman's channel. And they got a house. They made their own house, House Nymeria, which is like a Targaryen branch that married into Dorne. So they're playing through that, and you know, you should check out their actual play. It's got like 80 episodes on it. Absolutely love it. Speaking of streamers, the original box set does a lot of RPG. I think right now they're doing a Shadowrun campaign that is GM'd by Max. and it's really awesome. They also have some Star Wars stuff that I absolutely loved and got to nerd out in a lot. But yeah, like I think that's one of the things I'm excited about for trying on Friday is just seeing, you know, how many people I can get to help me make a house. What's this about Shadowrun? If you go to Original Box Set's Twitch channel, and they also have a YouTube channel under the same name, they do Shadowrun, they've done Pathfinder, and the Star Wars RPG. Let me see if I can remember the shout out command. I've never actually tried the commands before, so I don't know if I remember it properly. Yes, there we go. Popsicles. Oh, for like making into minis and stuff. And I ran out of metal paint. Get this arm. Yeah, tomorrow is Tuesday. I forgot about that. Not gonna lie, there's a part of me that's thinking tomorrow was Friday. My sense of time has been has been completely destroyed. Oh no, I can almost just barely see where everything is going there in the hand. And the other channel, Russell Zimmerman, they stream or play the game. They stream every other Sunday for their Game of Thrones RPG. Let me see if I can. Actually, I have to look them up to get the app right. Where are you? Ah, there it is. Boom. There we go. Yeah, I met a lot of fun and great people when I was trying to get into tabletop writing. A lot of them were Shadowrun writers. There we go. A nice little pinky. There we go. That's one whole arm. And I ran out of metal again. But yeah. So in case people didn't know, to try and get more regular streaming, Wednesday will be coming back and either finishing this up, or I'm hoping we get started on House Mormont She Bears. That's actually what the unit is called. I'm not complaining about it. I actually like it because they're just very large women in armor carrying maces into battle. So I'm looking forward to that. That one's going to be a bit of a brighter silver armor. I'm probably just going to use non-oil and no Drakenhof Nightshade. And, you know, House Mormont colors are green with a black bear, so that'll be fun to paint. And then because they're not wearing helmets, it's going to be my first extensive foray into painting skin and faces. I'm not looking forward to painting eyes. If you were there for when I tried to paint Roose Bolton's eyes, it was not good. Eventually I just settled for, yes, there are black shadows under his eyelids. Hopefully that works. See. You probably see a little bit of where I tried darkening it with non-oil and then painting white and failing miserably. It was bad. It was very bad. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And then after I paint House Mormont, I have a ton of I have an entire Targaryen army to work through, because in the way back when I got the Targaryen starter set, which is 17 miniatures. Then I got the Targaryen Heroes, which adds another 5. Oh boy. So I got like 22 miniatures to paint for that. And they have horses. I've never painted a horse before in my life. Alright, so now we got left is the skin. Let me just... Well, actually, no, I remember that. That's going to be flayed one. Let's see, you got green and blue and white. I feel like yellow would be a good cockpit color for that. I think yellow would blend in. You could do a lighter shade of green. I don't know. I feel like the other colors, complementary colors of like different shades of green and blue, might be like too much green and blue. I think yellow provides like a nice different color, but I'm not sure. I want you to be a point. That's sort of a point. Ooh, I have to go back over that. This is going on thin. Did that last time too. You have a really good yellow, but you're scared of it. That's fair. I'm scared of all painting, so I know the feeling. Right, I have faith. You'll do all right. Oh, right. I actually need red to paint over that if I'm going to try. Then there's a spot in the back that I noticed I need to touch up. Oh, dot. There we go. Blue. Oh, wow, that went purple really shockingly fast. Ha ha. Now that's a nice little touch-up, if I do say so myself. I guess this should probably be blue too to be like part of the cloak, but I don't know. I like it that way. Alright, so I think I'll go ahead and get started on the banner next, since that's the biggest piece. Andrasta. Okay, that's fair. That's pretty much my relationship with Rhinox hide, which I was using for the Steel Wolves. Just every time the paint dried, it just kept shrinking. Couldn't get it to stop for nothing. Yeah, you know, I fully understand that. Oh, sorry. Everything's a little bit on the stiff side. Actually, yeah, we're gonna wait. All right. So the banner, I wanted to paint the book colors. Oh, wait. I forgot all these little studs. I don't want to paint the studs. They're tiny and evil. So I don't know if you can see it, but got all these little tiny studs everywhere. Oh. Studs are going to be evil, I know it. I'm going to have to go back for them eventually. Not right now. Right now they scare me. Alright. Here we go. Now, in the show, their colors were blue with a crucified and flayed man who was crucified upside down. Here, you can't really see the detail too well. You know, they got the flayed man and then the blood droplets. This all is supposed to be pink. And then the flayed man and the blood droplets are red. The reason I've been doing blue cloaks but sort of red tabards is I've been mixing the house colors from the show and the book. Which, personally, I like to think I haven't done too bad of a job of. I have plump pink from Army Painter. I think I have... I think it's called the Pixie Pink. I went for very bright pink colors back in the day. Or I bought some very bright pink colors, I should say. Don't really remember why, but I did. And it's paying off. It's like an orange fleshy tone. Alright. Yeah, here the goal is... Well, I'm using Emperor's Children pink right now. But basically paint this up pink. And then go over the Flayed Man and Blood Droplets with Flesh Terror's red. Which, if it works like it did with the Screamer pink, which is what I painted the tabards, it'll still be red, but it'll be a pinkish red. Of course, that's just for the Flayed Man and Blood Droplets. I need a bigger brush. Why am I still trying to use this little brush? But I'm, you know, it should transition with the pink background better. There we go. There we go. This is, I've never used the pink before, but it looks like it's going in kind of thin. Ah, there we go. Now we're getting coverage. Alright, let's get a little bit more to thicken it. But not too much. Maybe thicken it a bit more. Oh boy. It's going to be a long time painting if it keeps going on that thin. Fuegan orange shade paint. Oh yeah, makes the should make the sand red, right? More of a beachy sand. Beach-y sand. Beachy like beach with a Y. No. You want to go on thick, this paint is coming out thin. Oh boy. Would not work as well as using something like Colia green shade. Colia green shade, that's a wash? A green wash, right? There we go. Oh boy. This pink is not going on very thick. A beautiful blue-green. Alright. So, you were going to use that on the base? Was that to make like a sort of seawater base, or close to seawater. Oh, there's still a whole back to this banner. Oh no! This banner's gonna kill me. I wish I had a pink wash. How am I feeling today? Honestly, a bit on the weird side. Not as bad as it was last night. Last night I had some serious cry pain issues. My whole right side kept feeling like it was just collapsing in, which something that I'm more used to feeling from my left side ever since I got dropped on my left side as a kid. The story there is I had a cousin who is well over 6 feet tall who one day picked me up and then decided to drop me on an air mattress from above his head while I was like 10. At the time, we all thought it was funny until I hit the air mattress and blew it apart because, you know, a kid is not supposed to hit an air mattress from over 6 feet in distance. My left side has kind of felt weird ever since. They don't break any ribs though, thankfully. But yeah, last night I was feeling all of that on my right side, and it was, oof, it was bad. And then most of this morning I couldn't use my right hand actually, so, you know, that's feeling better. Yeah, I found out I feel pain very differently from most people, but yeah, that still hurt. Oh, this pink is going on so thin. I'm not sure I like it. Alright. Oh boy. But yeah, I do feel somewhat better. Thanks for asking. Alright, let's go ahead and do this back part. I think I'm actually bending the flagpole from painting it. Right. You gotta admit, there's some irony in seeing this walking over a hill with a bright pink banner. At least until you see what's on the banner. House Bolton has a long and horrifying reputation. In case you thought the North were the good guys in Game of Thrones, House Bolton has been around a long time and very big fans of the North. And the North is very big fans of them. They're, believe it or not, what you see in the show with Roose and Ramsay, that's nothing. They've been at for a very long time. Let's Well, I mean, obviously they end up being fans of the Starks because you know they took over, but actually they didn't have to strong arm the Karstarks and the Umbers, but that's because they had big problems with Robb Stark. Uh, Basically, the problem is more like the North had very strong ties and traditions, and being exposed to the culture of the Andals from a little bit further south, you know, Andals and the Targaryens, they kind of softened up a bit. And House Bolton is kind of like the very traditional house. They're traditional northern house. The issue was that Roose Bolton was, you know, he was the Tywin Lannister of the North. He wanted to take charge, and when the opportunity presented itself, he took it. But yeah, been deep diving the wikis, and I think it's very hard to say that there's any culture in Game of Thrones that has a good moral compass. It's more like you get people, and those people are trying to change the cultures around them, but a lot of them die. I think that's why I was a fan of Daenerys in the show, because she's just like, yeah, no, we're gonna break all of this. We're gonna break the wheel and free everything. But the problem was, I think the show writers realized, oh wait, we don't want to break things. So instead, the show's like, and then everything went back to normal. It's like, what, really? How dare you? How dare you kill the breaker of chains? Alright, let's try and finish up this band. But yeah, I know what you mean. After they, House Bolton rebelled, some of the houses, like the Reeds and Manderleys, were kind of like, yeah, no, we're just gonna run away from here. We just really we'd rather be independent than actually, you know, follow you because you're an oath breaker and everything, which is why it's so bad. But then he also had the Karstarks and Umbers, who very happily went in line with him. Although in the books, the heir to the Karstark house ran away and ended up marrying a wildling to create House Thin. If I remember right, House Thin is the Thins were the cannibal tribe of wildlings. Free folk. I should be using the term free folk. Yeah, I think if I had to go for a favorite Game of Thrones culture, I would probably go for House Martell and the Rhoynar. Because, yes, they still have serfs, but they're not entirely another word for slavery about it, like the rest of Westeros is. They are very openly accepting of alternative lifestyles. And they're not exactly big fans of non-consensual activities. Riverlands? Yeah, the Riverlands would be not bad. Nice and open. Not a whole lot of micromanaging from the lords. If the priming was something other than gray, I probably wouldn't mind this nice, very thin effect. But it is gray, and it looks weird. Alright, but I'm going to come back to that because that is irking me. Okay, I lied. I'm not going to come back to that. Weird part is, I think the Stormlands would be the environment I'm the most comfortable in. You know, nice and rainy and whatnot. I like that. Although, I say that having lived in a place with a roof over my head my whole life, so I might not like it when that roof leaks. I mean, Dorne is a desert, but it's also got beaches. And then, of course, you know, the closer you are to the Stormland and the Reach, the more grassy it gets. I feel like the perfect spot would be right around where the Dondarrions live, which is right where the two meet. Should be like prime Florida living space. They can keep their beaches. Yes. I love the spicy food. Well, no. I don't love all spicy food, but spicy food I like, I love. But yeah, I like how on the one hand, you know, they start how House Martell were Andals, I think. And then you get the Rhoynar who come over from, you know, sailing down the Rhoyne River. They're led by this badass warrior queen who is like so badass they incorporated her name into their house name and went from House Martell to House Nimros Martell. Thanks, Curries. I would imagine almost anyone from Essos. Probably more eastern than the coast. There's a bit of a peninsula that's shaped like a smaller India that has the more Asian cultures. You don't see them in the show, but they're, you know, they're on the map and they get mentioned a lot in the books. I would imagine that they get they probably have something. I mean, curry's just one of those foods that's kind of like when people find out about it, they make their own version of it, so it's kind of just everywhere. Yeah, although Slave City is pretty much like any city in Essos. There's Summer Isles. Summer Isles are actually supposed to be more. I don't know if they're more African themed, but I know that's where a lot of the black people you see in the show come from. There is an actual continent south of Essos that I guess would be more George R. R. Martin's idea of Africa, but you don't see it a whole lot, so I don't know like if it's accurate, if it's good representation or a bad representation, or if it's just there. It kind of doesn't show a whole lot except for Essos, and Essos kind of comes across as the North African Mediterranean coastline. Well, actually, the entire Mediterranean coastline. So, North Africa, a bit of Asia Minor, and even Southern Europe. The Roinar, before they became House Martell, actually kind of struck me as kind of like a river nomads. And then, of course, after they settle in Westeros, when you see them in the show, they take a lot of cues from Asia Minor, Middle East. Because, you know, they have lighter cloth armor, they have more spears and everything. I think in the book they're even noted for having really good horses that run in the desert, which is a reference to Arabian steeds. There we go. All right. Oh! Ow. That went my neck. Sorry, everything's cracking and popping. Whew. Alright. Let's be brave now and try and get those studs on our first person. I think that's about the best I'm going to get that banner. Thankfully, I only ever have to paint one more of these. And that's for the cavalry unit. Alright, now I want to try dry brushing these. That's so I don't get them everywhere. And we got them everywhere. Alright. Well, that was a total failure. Oh, that was a total failure, but hopefully when I wash it covers up a lot of that accidental metal. I'm not going to be going back for that small detail. That was too much. Well, that is some very shiny leather. I have to be happy with that. All right. Let's see. Back to painting the bannerman. All right, let's see. This time I went with the... Alright, so let's see. Let's paint the leather first. That way if I make any mistakes on the tabard, I can go back over them and I don't have to... I want my smaller brush for that. Oh, he's got like a bit of a fur trim over there. I have to decide what color to paint that. Oh wait, that is his belt. Okay. Whew. Right there I thought I was painting over tabard and I got really scared. What I like about this is you don't have this huge gap between the shield and the mini like you do on this one. When you paint the shield, you paint the shield. You don't have to worry about trying to squeeze behind it. Oh, I don't know why they tortured me like that, but they did. Sorry, I keep forgetting where I have my camera in place to my face. So much leather. Of course, when you're a house known for flaying people, I don't want to know where you get your leather from. Was why I wanted to paint the brown first. There we go. These GW brushes just really like absorbing color, and I'm only happy they don't spread it everywhere. Okay, you know, actually I'm going to see what this looks like now. Which is, we're going to go ahead and put our Flesh Terrors Red contrast paint. Very carefully. Not going to be perfect, but I'm not going to complain. Oops. Remember, as Bob Ross says, there are no mistakes, only bloody blood drops. Ooh, that was not a dimension I was thinking about. So it really helps that they didn't just outline the sigil, but they also raised it. I was not thinking about all the angles that meant. But it's all right. It can look like real cloth where dye probably bled over. Haha, pun. Because let's face it, when you're making 900 of these for an army, you're not too worried about perfection. I need to go over this with more pink, but in the meantime, I think that's going to work. As that'll do, pig. That'll do. Let's see. Yeah, let's go ahead and try finishing the banner. Then we'll move on to the rest of the miniature. I think for the, because we're coming up on 2 hours. Whew. I think so we can still do more months on Wednesday. I am going to paint the rest of these off stream, or since so many people I know have insomnia and late night sleeping problems, maybe I'll do like a midnight stream. Can also catch all the friends in other parts of the world, like Australia and New Zealand. Because right now, most of them are just waking up. Give them something nice to watch midday on Tuesday. Actually just going straight from the pot for this pink because otherwise it is just super thin. I've already gone over this like at least twice already. Still see all the gray underneath. There we go. It's good enough. I'm not a professional painter, so good enough is something I can use. Ha ha ha. Seriously, even if you are a professional painter, if you feel like you're going too far, stop. Take a break. Relax. Do not kill yourself. They're just minis. Because if you hurt yourself doing a task, you may find that you have no more love for the task. Ooh, too much there. Oh well. It's too bad. We'll go back over it. Go. And just a little bit more. That might have been too much. All right. Whew. more bloodier than I was planning, but I think it works out. Just touching up these still very pink blood drops. All right. And then when I go over with Nuln oil, hopefully that'll cover up all the gray that's still peeking through. Peeking through the pink. All right. Let's see. Still gotta decide what to paint this fur. In the meantime, let's go ahead and I'm gonna work from the deepest layer out. So we're gonna start with his face this time. Sorry, just trying to decide the angle of attack since it's going to do that anyways. There we go. There we go, Screamer Pink. It's going to be our tabard color. Let's see, our tabard is... get these bottoms here. Last little cracks. There we go. Oops, sorry. Realize how close to the camera I was there. All right. As clean as first one, but still pretty good. Just going to do a little touch up on the leather. Sounds like the bats are coming out to play outside. We'll go over that with a bit more pink. Come on. Work with me. Oh, that little strip's not wanting to paint brown, but oh well. Alright, so now for the black gambeson. And then the blue cape and armor again. Oh, right, and I gotta paint this fur. I have a different brown for that. Get a little bit darker. Then we can try and dry brush some white spots onto it. Make it look like distinguished fur. Go. Yep, I went to the brown I was using. There you are. This brown suddenly got very, very thin. There we go. Oh, that's a different shade of brown. Alright, I think that's enough time playing with the collar. Alright, so now we want to go to black for our gambeson. More of that inner cloth. Yeah, this black keeps going on. It's super thin. Black keeps going on. It's more of a wash than a... Go. Here we go. Oh, I want my neck again. Oh, right. Gotta get under the arm too. Is that a good angle? Sorry, I have to wait for the stream to catch up so I can see if it's a good angle or not. It doesn't look like it, but I don't know how I can get a good angle and still be able to see. Actually should be red, but I don't quite have the time or patience for that. All right. Now for the blue. glue went on really thin. I go back in here to get this one little piece of cape between the boots. Alright, bit of a mess now, but we'll be able to clean it up later. Whew. Streaming right after waking up kind of tires you out. That's my fault for having a horrible sleeping schedule. I know y'all can't hear it, but I can. The bats have definitely come out to play. I'm actually surprised they're bats where I am because it's right in the middle of the city. Florida, it made sense because Florida is kind of living in the, not necessarily the middle of nowhere, but it's a very not well developed area, and specifically where I live there were a ton of Australian pine trees, so it provided plenty of space for them to disappear. Hey, welcome back, CMON. And of course, you know, being Florida, that meant there were plenty of mosquitoes, so bats never went hungry. Thank you. It's actually not freehand. There is a raised bit here. I just painted it red, but thank you. But, you know, living here in the middle of the city, I'm actually surprised I have bats. Because there isn't really a lot of good places for them to hide, so I know there's some, I'm right next to a college, and they do have, like, a branch for veterinary medicine, so I wonder if, like, maybe they have, like, some sort of shelter for the bats over there. But, yeah. Okay, I'll take the compliment. I did say thank you. After this, we got to paint the metal. And I'm going to wash the armor on both minis in Drakenhof Nightshade. And put the Agrax Earthshade onto the leather and this fur. And then Reikland Fleshshade on their chins. I think that might be where I'm calling it for tonight, because holy cow, it's 2 hours. But on the bright side, I think I did paint both of these minis together faster than I painted Bruce Bolton himself for an average. I definitely have more to play with in terms of this banner. So at least I'm getting faster. There we go. Oh yeah? Should definitely do that. You know, one-on-one mechs should be fun to you know, get to learn the game and whatnot. Also lets you go wild with all the builds, because you can just build and not care about balance and whatnot. Looking at 4,000 points, one mech. Yeah. Solaris maps or Solaris arenas are known for all their obstacles, so you know, got plenty of buildings and debris to act for cover and whatnot. If I remember right, 6/6 is like the lowest you can get for stats, right? Or, well, you know what I mean. They're like the worst stats. Like, sure, you get all the cool stuff, but you'll be rolling the hardest, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, because the light pilot can actually do all the things and make all the rolls. You know, I forgot about this entire flagpole. A 3/4 is considered average. Alright. Because I know Stowe, when he's doing his Mega Mech, he got scared when he had to face a pilot with one gunnery because it would never ever miss, I think is what he said. accidentally pressed my fingers in there, and now I took all the paint off that arm. Zero gunnery is terrifying. Now in the main game, it balances out like you want your better pilots in lower mechs so you have more points to put in the bigger mechs, right? But in Solaris, since it's only one, you're trading off mech for skills, I think. I've still haven't really touched the game, so I'm still trying to get a grasp for it. Here we go. Or you can go really top heavy and play an amazing pilot and an awesome mech, but if you lose that mech, you probably lose the game. Yeah. You do that, and then next thing you know, there's a little mongrel Grendel running around with the large laser who just puts a shot right in your cockpit because the player put the sniper in that. Or a Panther with a PPC. Yeah. And then all you need is a lucky gunnery to get a shot into the cockpit, and all of a sudden, all that armor doesn't really matter. I have to be very careful to avoid that blood drop. Gotcha. Now let's see. Gotta dry brush those metal studs. It's gonna be fun again. Then we gotta do our washes. Come on. This one. And I just realized I forgot to paint his boots. Whew. And I also need to paint his banner pole, because I keep forgetting that. So has anyone been keeping up with House of the Dragons, or are they just not risking it because of season 8? Yeah, I would definitely end up being just like your fiance. I have to have soda. It's a curse. I mean, I know exactly how that feels. Every time I go grocery shopping, I'm still like, woohoo, empty bank account. I just get $20, $30, and it's gone again because I need food. So I know that feeling. I invest heavily in ramen and rice products. Thankfully, jambalaya is actually a bit cheap to buy the ingredients, and it lasts a few days, so it's actually cost effective. All right, thank you. You know, I I don't know if I'll still be here when you get back, but hopefully I will. Yeah. I'm just cursed with needing a lot of carbs for my dietary requirements. So, unfortunately, I have to do the meat because just vegetables doesn't do it by itself, unfortunately. Why would they not glue this flagpole to the base? I do not know. I don't like how they did that with Roose Bolton's sword too. It's like, come on, it's touching the base. Just go ahead and glue it there. No, we only glued the feet, so they stand strong. How's Bolton, not Mormont? Mormont's the one who, here we stand. Bolton's worried about their blades being sharp. The blades can't be sharp if they break off because they're not glued to the base. All right, and now we can do our washes. So for the skin, we have our Reichland Flesh Shade. Did I get any on my brush? I thought I did. Nope, doesn't look like it. Oh, hi. Thank you for the raid, Liz Tiffany. Hi, thank you. We're painting up some House Bolton Blackguards. Which, I know technically they're Game of Thrones, but, you know. It doesn't try to monetize Warhammer when they're poor. But, hi, thank you for the raid. Ooh, and thank you for the follow. It actually puts me very close to getting affiliate. For some reason, Twitch doesn't count one of my followers, but hey, 50 followers. Woohoo! That's a mark. Let's see, for the pink I wanted, or for the Screamer pink, I wanted this nice Flesh Terrors red contrast. Yes, yes you are. You are number 50 follower. Thank you for the follow and the raid. Yeah, thank you. I'm going to have to return the favor as soon as I finish and get a free hand. Nope, nope. Work with me, brush. Not against me. Work with me. There we go. Yeah, so we're painting up some Bolton Blackguards from... I'm using Citadel paint for a lot of this. So like for, actually I'm using Citadel paint for everything, but like this tabard was Screamer pink, and I'm putting Flesh Terror red's contrast paint on top of it. The brown was Mournfang brown. This is all the metal bits are Iron Hand steel. And the skin was Flayed One's Flesh, but I've already gone over it with a Reichland Flesh Shade. And this is Night Lord's Blue. I need to go over the... Yeah, it's easy to use, and there are a lot of videos for it. I need to go over the cape and metal bits with Drakenhof Nightshade and then earth shade on the leather, and then the banner is going to get non oil, which is Emperor's Children's pink and War Flesh Terror's red, which came out beautifully. All right, so let's see. But yeah, right now we're finishing up the washes, and then that will be it for tonight because I've already been going well over 2 hours. But hey, thank you for joining in. I hope you like what you see. All right, so there we go. Get in that little spot. Yeah, I decided to go with red and blue on the Boltons because when you first see them in the show, their colors are blue with a crucified flayed man. But in the books, it's pink with a red flayed man and all these nice little blood drops, which reminds me I need to paint that blood drop. I think I'm going to use the fist in red for that, but I want to do that after I do the Drakenhof. Alright, so let's go ahead and do the Drakenhof, and then I can touch back the leather after the contrast has dried. Or wait, no, I want my big brush for this, not my little brush. Apologies for the ASMR of the brush washing. There we go. Oh no. How did I get all that silver? Okay, I'm just gonna have to trust in the heart of the paint for that. But if I do this right, the blackened steel should come out like that, which is just dang perfect. Did that completely by accident, and I love it so much. So, hoping to recreate that. Ah! Don't touch the wet paint. And after that, I just got to really just highlight this cloak with, what am I using? Calgar Blue. Yeah. Get some of the blue from here. Boom. Yeah, today we're doing House Bolton. Probably, definitely not going to finish all of them because I still got like a whole other 9 miniatures in the box. But Wednesday we're planning on moving to House Mormont, which has a lovely unit of all women with giant maces called the Mormont She-Bears. I'm looking forward to that one. And then Friday, we're actually... Oh. Sorry. I guess my headset died. Sorry. Didn't expect that to happen. I guess that says how long I've been streaming today versus how long I normally stream. But yeah, Friday we're planning on coming back and trying to do a community thing where I take chat input and make a house for the Game of Thrones universe. I'm kind of excited for that because I want to see what everyone puts into it and whatnot. And yeah. And if there's time after, I'm going to try and paint up some Dothraki horsemen for the Targaryen army. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for the raid and thank you for the follow. Have a good night. That was awesome. So now I have 50 followers. Although Twitch isn't counting one of them, but if I can get another one tonight, that will give me enough so I can reach affiliate, which then means I can save videos. So the thing I want out of affiliate is the ability to upload and save my videos. I have them saved on my computer, but they eat up space. Oh, Malaysia, that's awesome. Well, hey, have a good day then. And again, thank you for the follow and the raid. It's actually really cool. Here we go. Get into the eye so it gets... Yeah, bye. Have a good day. And again, thank you so much. I'll be sure to return the favor. Ah! Well, okay, at least that went on the hand. Get all this metal. This lovely, lovely metal. I don't think I washed your cape. Yeah, no, I didn't wash your cape. Alright. I just gotta wash the cape. A bit more blue steel than blackened steel like Bruce Bolton did. I wonder what it did different. Not sure, but I'll figure it out. Alright, so let's see. There's that. Next up is the banner with Nuln oil. Where did I put my Nuln oil? Here we go. Nuln oil. And then I throw my brush clear across the desk. That's really cool. Let's see. It's going on a bit That's all right. All the better to fill in these folds with. There we go. All right, there we go. Yeah, we gotta get non-oil here, here, and here. We gotta get you here, 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 and there. All right. Gotta wash this off. Then it was Earthshade. There we go. All right. I think it's all right if I get a little bit on. Red tabard. Red should soak that up pretty nicely. Really, it could only help, not hurt. There we go. Okay. Now we just gotta paint that blood drop. I feel like I'm forgetting something. Am I forgetting something? Not sure. Actually, I think I'm going to paint the blood drop the same way I painted that tabard because it comes out nice and dark. So that's going to be Screamer Pink. Actually kind of hoping this comes out a bit metal. Oh, metallic. Let me rephrase that. So you're kind of riding around with flayed people and blood drops. You're already kind of metal. Oh no! That tip. Oh crap. Oh crap. Okay, a bit more bloody metal than I was expecting, but we can touch that up in the post. Touch that up, it's already dried. Oh wow, we're coming up on 3 hours. This is the longest stream I've done in a while. Last time I did a stream this long, I was playing Alien Isolation, I think. No, it was Bloodlines, Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. That's a game I'll never be touching again. Let's touch up the... again. A bit thin. Here we go. All right. Give that a few seconds to dry. Didn't quite come out the blackened metal it did there on Roose Bolton, but I think I used a layer of non-oils. Let's go ahead and put that on there. See how that darkens things up. Might be too much. Kind of want this going in dark because it's supposed to be black and steel. And unfortunately, Iron Hand Steel is the darkest paint I have at the moment, and I can't really afford to get more. It's gotta be inventive. About how we make it work for us. Because the paint should work for us, not against us. Should be time to contrast. And this is just the Flesh Terrors red contrast, because I want the red to have a kind of pinkish red to it. That seems to work out beautifully on everything. All right, there we go. So non-oil and Drakenhof Nightshade is the magic recipe there. Oops, sorry. I'm a quiet speaker, so I have my mic very close to me so I can be heard. There we go. All right, so that is our Bolton Blackguards. We only painted 2 tonight, but we did paint one of the soldiers and the bannerman. It doesn't take us 3 hours on Wednesday to get through some of the Mormont she-bears. I might come back and try and do some more of these. I'll probably end up doing the rest off stream just so I have something to do with me and to occupy my time without necessarily having to make it a streaming event. Don't take it the wrong way. I'm enjoying streaming, especially the painting streams. Just, you know, sometimes I need me time. But hey, thank you everyone for joining in today. It's been a lot of fun talking to y'all and painting this. Don't forget, Wednesday we're coming back around the same time, which is 5 p.m. in the Central United States, Central Standard Time Zone. 5 p.m. 1700, and we will be trying to do some Mormont she-bears, and then Friday we're going to try and make a nice community Game of Thrones noble house. By that, you know, there's a Song of Ice and Fire RPG. It comes with a complete kit for making your own house in any part of Westeros. And so we will be doing that, and we'll be rolling some things like, you know, how much wealth the house has and whatnot. But as far as like, you know, where it is, any kind of house culture, what the sigil is and the sigil colors, I kind of want to try and get community input for those. So, you know, feel free to come in, join the stream, you know, talk the talk, and or, you know, help make a house. It's like a fun little community project, which is saying something because I don't really have much of a community right now. But hey, thank you all so much. Thank you for getting us to 50 followers. That was awesome. Let's see. I need to find a raid. Let's see. Who is available? Let's see. Go to high. There we go. Miss Angel. All right, so I'm going to be sending y'all off on a raid, and I hope you have fun.